What's up, everyone? This is the Next Take podcast with Mikel
and Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So today's episode is a special edition of Screen Take for April. It's basically what we watch, movies, TV shows, etc. Yeah, and we're going to give you um our top. Usually, you give me our top like three or five what we watch. So, yeah. So, do you want to begin, Tanika, or do you
Sure.
want to?
Or I may go through because I haven't even actually picked what my top five is.
All right. So,
You go
I'll
ahead.
I'll I'll go ahead since I only watched one movie in April, which I was supposed to watch three, right? But I watched the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I thought it was all right. It wasn't better than the first one, in my opinion. Um, Yeah, like I was in the theater with a family and also kids. They laugh more than me in the movie theater. So, yeah, I didn't think it was horrible. I thought it was all right. The jokes weren't hitting. The humor was not that, good. The movie felt like it was like there was a lot of cuts from the movie. Um, it felt like it was going to plot to plot. That's why it felt like a lot of the film was basically cut, and that's why I felt like it was going plot to plot. So, yeah, um, all right movie. I rated it I guess a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Like I said, the first movie was a bit better, a little bit more funnier, and uh, yeah, yeah. Uh, that's
Yeah.
all I have to say. I was supposed to watch the hockey movie called Young Blood. Didn't get time to watch that. Another movie I was supposed to watch, Project Hail Mary. I probably will watch that in time May. Uh, and I think it was the AI documentary, which I didn't get time to watch that either. So a lot of material I'm gonna be watching in May, and I will get back to you guys with that. So, Tanika, do you wanna?
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about more, I didn't watch the movie myself. I haven't seen either of them,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but my brother has seen both of them in theater, and he went to see it, I think it was last weekend,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and he how he described it was visually, it's a beautiful movie. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
visually
yeah.
really
Yep.
well done, but
Yeah.
that the story fell flat. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
kind of what he kind of
Yeah.
said. So you're
Yeah.
kind of mimicking kind of what he's saying
Yeah.
with that.
I enjoyed the first one a lot better. So it's
Yeah.
just it, yeah, there was there was like there was some good parts, but like it was just like eh, all right. eh,
Do you
like,
think there will be a third one?
yeah, yeah, it'll be a
Yeah.
third one. Yeah.
Probably because
It
also
was
just the curiosity of it is
mhm,
kind of like you're gonna have that fandom that came and saw the first
mhm,
one, enjoyed the first one.
mhm,
Um, and you're gonna have those people coming and still seeing the movie. So at the end of the day,
mhm, mhm,
good or bad, the movie's still making money. So
mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, exactly. And it's Super Mario,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's
He kinda said
regardless.
it was kinda had more of like a Mario Galaxy feel. Um, in terms of like the game, like it had that kind
Yeah,
of feel to it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
it felt like it was. I understand that Super Mario's targeted towards kids, but I felt
Mhm.
like I felt
Well,
like the
I feel
first
like
movie
it's not
was.
just about kids, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
I felt the first movie was well rounded, right?
Yeah. Well,
But
as
this
much
one
as
was.
these kind of movies, these cartoon animated
Mm-hmm,
movies usually
mm-hmm,
are, because if you're gonna bring your children to go see a movie,
mm-hmm,
they always have
hmm.
some form of an
Hmm.
adult joke in there that only the parent is
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
understand, not so much the child.
yeah,
And then when you grow up, you're like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So yeah. And but I
yeah.
think like it's different with Super Mario or just, Mario Brothers in general. I feel like it's different because it's like, yes, it might be a kid's movie, and I 100% agree with that,
Mhm,
but it's still like all people all ages play these games and
mhm.
have since the beginning of Mario, you know? So
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's not just always like these type of movies are not just geared to children.
I know.
It's geared to adults
I
too.
understand. Understand. Look, like the second movie just felt like they were just trying to target towards kids, and then you can see that kids were laughing, and I
Mhm.
sat there in the theater. I was like, these jokes are not that funny. I was just like, oh,
Here's the thing
I feel
about
like
I'll say about
I
children.
feel like a lot of. Go ahead.
What I'll say about children is they'll
Yeah,
find anything funny.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what
I
I
understand.
mean? It
Yeah,
doesn't take
I understand.
much
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make something funny for a
yeah,
child, to be
yeah,
totally honest.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But yeah. Yeah, it was alright.
hopefully, what if
Mm.
they do a third one's better.
Yeah, hopefully they write the story a bit better and not like,
Yeah. Don't fall
cut.
foul on the story.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like they cut like like half the movie, like cut a chunk here, here. They had a
Maybe they
time.
did.
Yeah,
Maybe there is some stuff that hit the
yeah,
cutting room floor. Could have.
yeah, because the same thing with Doctor Strange and Madness, I believe. Multiverse of Madness, I would say. They cut
Mhm.
like some movies. I thought the movie was good, but it could have been better if they just fleshed out the movie a little bit more. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, yeah, I felt like the same way with Super Mario Galaxy. I think they had a time limit and they couldn't
Mhm.
cross it, so they had to cut certain chunks of the movie.
Yeah, that's usually how it
Cause
goes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
because they do
yeah.
like screeners and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
maybe an original screener or something just wasn't hitting, and they had to take something out.
Yeah.
We never know, right? Because
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
obviously on those screeners.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah.
No, go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, with my very, very busy month, I still managed to watch quite a bit
Yeah.
actually. Um, and I don't even know where to begin. One of them I will talk about, but I won't go into depth with. I feel like I kind of already did in an earlier episode. But
Mm,
or maybe a couple of them I won't go too in depth because I talked about them in an earlier episode.
mhm,
But this first one that I watched, it was a love story of uh God, the font is so small. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, which we talked about this
mm,
story in our, the Kennedy curse episode that we did. I think it was in January we did it.
mhm, mhm,
Um,
mhm,
so this is the one where John F. Kennedy Jr., obviously, JFK's son,
mhm,
um, died alongside his wife, her sister, and I think it was just the three of them, um, died in a plane crash. Um, it was there's a lot of mixed reviews um, with this show. On one hand, it's like, "Oh, you know, these things didn't happen, or this didn't happen," whatever.
mhm,
When you're dealing with Ryan Murphy, I think we can all agree that sometimes he makes up. We've talked about it multiple times with like the monster series and whatnot, but um, obviously there's going to be certain things within the show that we don't have all the details. because a lot of it is conversations between the two of them. Obviously, we don't know the conversations that happen between the two of them. They can account to that. They're not on this planet anymore. So, for what it was, I thought it was well done. I thought it opened my eyes to certain things that I didn't know. Like, for example, I didn't know she's had her start with Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein, like that's crazy.
Mm,
And
mm,
that's kind of how they met. They technically kind of met through that connection. And there's so much like I think I didn't know and I learned um, to some extent with watching the show and um but I thought it was well done for what it was. I thought the actor who plays JFK Jr. was f- pretty splitting image of him. It was pretty fantastic. Her as well, the actress that played Carolyn Bessette, I thought was very close as well. And that's always fascinates me with these types of shows,
mm.
how close they can look like the actual person.
Right.
Um, yeah. So I thought
Right.
it was I thought it was well done.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I enjoyed it,
Interesting.
for what it was. Um, I also watched I'll talk about it very briefly because I talked about this one a little bit already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this one, 9/11, One Day in America. It's an National Geographic documentary.
Oh, it's a doc. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Well,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
obviously it's a documentary. I don't think they
Yeah.
will. I don't know if they were to ever do like a fictional type show for this.
You mean a
I
series or
don't.
something like that?
If they were to do like if they were to do something similar, like a mini series or or
So
docu
how do
series or something like that, I don't think I could ever watch
I
it.
mean? I don't think
I think it'd be in
the
poor taste,
survivors and the
personally.
survivor families would agree with that.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't think it's been 20 plus years now. I
Yeah.
just don't
Yeah.
think it would be appropriate to ever
Hmm.
do something like that. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
that. I've never seen anything like that. So it's yeah, it was a documentary and it was, I believe, 6 episodes. And what I thought, and I said this before, I think with the other documentary that I was comparing it to,
Uh-huh.
what I thought of this documentary that is so different than anything else that I've seen
Right.
with respect to 9/11
Hmm.
is how focused it was on the victims, the rescuers who
Uh,
I think everyone will agree with me, they are also victims of this tragedy.
right.
It was very focused on the people, boots on the ground on this day.
Hmm.
It didn't focus on the perpetrators of this.
Hmm.
It didn't focus on the terrorism of this. It
Hmm.
didn't focus on Osama bin Laden. It didn't focus on the because again, if anyone knows anything about this tragedy, it doesn't
Hmm.
talk about the lead up to this. It doesn't talk about any of that. It talks about that day and the hell that was that day for the people boots on the ground.
Hmm.
And it I thought this was an amazing documentary and really put it in perspective of what people experienced that day. And like we know about when the towers came down and the the dust and the debris and the plane fuel and everything that came down with it.
Hmm. Hmm.
We know obviously like that was also tragedy in of itself. But when you see it happen and you see this literally the only thing I could describe it as like an avalanche going down the streets of Manhattan, it was I'm just like no one would have survived that if they were outside if that happened. And seeing people running into stores to get shelter because this is happening. It was it was a lot. There was, and it's just trigger warning for what I'm about to say, but I'm not gonna hold back here. Um, when they were inside, like, the lobby of one of the towers, because obviously the lobby of the tower was, when initially was somewhat still safe, and you're in there with the first responders kind of going through, "What are we gonna do to rescue people?" And all you could hear I can't even describe it, but all you could hear is just this bang and, like, what sounded like shattering of glass
Mhm,
constantly,
mhm,
and I'm listening to this, and I'm like, because 'cause you're literally watching them powwowing about the what their plans are and hearing this happen,
mhm,
and they're not explaining initially what that is, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, "What the hell is that? Is that the building? Is it starting to collapse? Like, what is going on?" No, not at that point.
mm,
They finally, when they do just talk about that sound that was constantly happening, it was people dropping from the top of the building,
wow,
from and it was just constant, and, it got to me, and I was just like, that they kind of say, every time you heard that sound, it
mm,
was another life that they couldn't save, and it breaks your heart
yeah,
when you hear that, and not only were, like, they when because I didn't know this, not only did the towers themselves come down, but there was a hotel that was, I think, in between the towers that
mm,
also collapsed, and I feel like we didn't hear enough about that. There are people that lost their lives in there too, and I don't think they ever talked about that, not as much as they did about the towers themselves, and yeah, that was new for me because 'cause I'm like, I didn't
yeah.
know that, and
Is it well, did they explain what the reason why they didn't talk about that tower, or it just ran through and just said
I I think
never give an
during
explanation?
that time, I think the focus was on the planes that hit the towers
Mm,
and watching the devastation of that, whereas, yes, obviously, this hotel also was affected by this and would, ultimately collapse because of it. Yes, all
mm,
that happened, but it's like it wasn't directly hit,
right,
right? So I just wonder if maybe because it wasn't directly hit by the plane. And let's not forget, we're dealing with we're dealing with the twin towers, but we also had another plane hit the Pentagon, and they did talk about the tragedy at the Pentagon as well.
mm,
Um, so that, we also had that happened, and then they also had the other plane that clearly did not hit its destination.
mm,
So there's just so much happening in the news that day that
right,
I'm not necessarily surprised that the hotel wasn't talked about, but at that time, but I'm just like, why haven't I heard about this since though? It's been, God, what? It'll be 25 years this year. How has that never been talked about up until this point? Or, whenever this documentary came out, which I don't think I think came out in 2021. So I'm just like, how did we never hear about it before? Um,
mm,
but yeah, the other part that again, I guess, I should know, but maybe we just never think about is, there's still people that were never recovered,
mm,
thousands of people that were
definitely,
not recovered.
definitely, yeah,
And that's also like the families of those victims, it's like, how do you, how do you go on with life knowing that your loved one,
it's
is
yeah,
where are they?
Yeah.
Um, so it, it's
Mhm.
it's tragic, and obviously they did talk about like there was the I think it was the fire chief who had a brother who went into um, being a
The
firefighter
mhm.
because of his older brother, and
Mm.
he lost his life. And it's kind of like this when he kind of started talking about his brother, I'm like, do not tell me he died. And yeah, he did. And um, security guard who worked at the Twin Towers, that was I don't remember which tower he was in, but he took his job very seriously, and he seemed to be very dedicated to his job, very much a I'm the captain of this ship and I'm the last off the boat type thing. And he did everything he could to save people that he could save and ultimately lost his life because of it.
Wow.
And when you kind of hear those stories of those people who were like, I didn't ask questions, just ran into that fire and did their
Yeah.
job that day.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
was, I would say, I hate to say my favorite documentary with this topic, but
Mhm. Mhm.
I thought a very well done documentary because it was just
Mhm.
so focused on that day and what those people
Mhm.
went through that
Mhm.
day instead of all of the that came after it, which, could have maybe not happened at all. But I digress.
Mm. So, did they interview a lot of um did they interview a lot of the people who are or not the survivors, but people who were uh affected by it?
Like, do you mean like victims or like people who were in who worked in the tower, or are you talking about first responders,
Yeah, the families of the
families?
of the
Um, So yes,
victims, yeah.
they did. I feel like they didn't
Okay.
interview a lot of the families,
Uh-huh.
but there was one guy in particular that really rings in my mind right now that
Okay.
he he's telling the story of going downtown. He had an interview.
Mhm.
He had a sister who was um, very encouraging of him and kind of helped him get ready for his interview.
Right.
And he's talking about his experience of being there, because he was there when it happened,
Mhm.
and helping another person stay alive and helped her get, the help she needed.
Mhm.
Um, and, kind of lived through this tragedy of being
Mhm.
there. And you're thinking,
Mhm.
that's the worst of it. That's
Mhm.
his experience has to be the worst of it
Mm.
when it wasn't. His sister, who was traveling with his niece, was on one of the planes,
Mm.
and he didn't know that. After he helped this woman get the help she needed,
Mm.
he gets a phone call from his brother-in-law asking, "Have you heard from your sister?" And
Right.
he's like, "What do you mean, have I heard from my sister? She lived in LA." So he's like, "What do you mean? Like, she you should know where she is. I don't know where
Mm.
she is."
Mm.
And his brother-in-law said her and the niece, she must have been no more than maybe 5 or 6.
Mhm.
Um, he said that she was on whichever flight it was. I think the first plane that hit the tower. She was on that plane,
Wow.
and he's thinking, meanwhile, I'm praying for the survival of this woman who had like she was burned, her whole body was burned, and he's like, Meanwhile, my sister was dead," and it was just you could tell he was right back there and he was talking about it and being like, How does this happen? Like, how does this happen?"
Mhm.
And I think that's the thing. How does something like that happen?
Yeah.
Like, how do you go on a plane, just doing your thing? How do you wake up in the morning and think I'm just going to do another day of my 9 to 5, and meanwhile your world's about to go upside down and not even an
Mm.
hour into your workday.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Um, So, yeah, no, that's the only person I can think of that they
Mhm,
spoke to,
mhm.
um, that was, not only affected, had a family member there who died, but also was affected himself for, what happened that day. But yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend it if you feel like
Okay.
getting bummed out and crying, because like I did.
Right. Mhm.
Um, on a lighter note, another one that I watched was the Hannah Montana, 20 it was 20th anniversary,
Yeah.
special. Um, okay, here's what I'm gonna say.
Mhm,
I I grew up watching Hannah Montana.
mhm.
I loved Hannah Montana, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I still probably sing the theme song for that show to this day.
Mhm.
Um, would watch it with my brother. It is it was a staple in my home for sure.
Yeah.
I was excited for this anniversary special for sure.
Uh-huh.
I was a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why is that? They didn't show all the
I
cast or they didn't
there
they
wasn't
didn't
enough of the cast. There
mm,
wasn't enough. Like, yes, you had Miley, which obviously that makes sense. But the brother, I think his name was Jackson, he wasn't there. The friends weren't there.
mm,
Um, what was the little boy's name there? Rocco, Rico? He wasn't there.
mm. There's gotta be reasons.
That's what I'm saying. Instead, I mean, Billy Ray Cyrus was there. I feel
Mhm.
like that would have made sense. That's her dad.
Yeah.
And obviously played the dad on the show, but he was there, so that was great. Um, but then they brought on Selena Gomez, who I didn't even remember was on the show, but she guest starred on the show, and they showed the clip. I'm like, okay, yes, I remember that now.
Crossover.
Crossover, what?
Waverly.
But they've already done the show for that. They already
Crossover
redid. They didn't
back in the
just do an
day.
anniversary special.
Back
They
in the
actually
day.
brought it. No, I'm not debating why she was on the show back in the
Oh,
day. I'm
oh,
not debating that part.
oh, okay, yeah.
What I'm debating is why bring her now on the anniversary special? She wasn't a main character, she was a guest
Oh, okay.
star.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So,
Yep.
of all people, you bring her, which is nothing against Selena Gomez, I'm just confused by the choice.
Uh-huh.
And then they brought on, I don't know her name, but I know she's like a very popular singer.
Mhm.
Um, uh, if I Google her, I'll probably find her name.
Mhm.
But she was worn, like, pretty, like, crazy stuff on the red carpets and stuff like that lately. Um, oh, Rowan or whatever her name is.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm a boomer. Um, they brought her on, and I'm just like, "Why?" She wasn't on the show. She
Mhm.
has Yes, she can give the perspective of a fan who watched the show, which fine,
Mhm.
but to have her on the show versus an actual cast member is ridiculous to me. And then you
Mm,
also had, and I understand, like, her mom was around, I'm sure, but her
mhm.
mom wasn't at all on the show, Miley's mom. She wasn't at all on the show.
Mhm.
So having, like, this conversation with Miley about, the clothes that were picked and being in the closet and, I know she had, like, this extravagant closet, being in that closet, kinda going through all the different clothes and stuff that, she wore on the show. I'm like, I don't like, I get the clothes, I get that conversation,
Mhm.
but why her mother? Like, have this main focus of her mom, not even just in that scene, but throughout, and I'm just like, she wasn't on the show. I wanna see people who are on the show,
Mhm.
I wanna see people who were part of making of the show
Yeah.
or the movie. Like, that's what I wanna see. I don't
See,
care.
see, I think the problem is either they had issues with the show, or or they had, or the cast had issues with the show, or
Mm.
they just weren't, or Miley Cyrus just lost connection with a lot of the cast.
I've
So
heard rumors that her and I think it's Emily Osment.
yeah.
I've heard there's been issues with them post the
Hmm.
show.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, she's been through it. That girl, she's been through it. But I I heard that. So I don't know if maybe that's why. I haven't heard anything about the others. Like
Hmm.
the friend, the guy that was there too.
The guy
I
that
forget
was
about him.
pretending to be a
Oh no, that was
the
her
young boy,
brother. That was the brother.
but
But
he's actually like probably
he
like,
was like 31 at the time of the show.
yeah,
Yeah.
John Cena's age at the time, whatever.
Which
I saw
whatever.
I saw a clip that was like he was like over the age of 30 pretending to be
Yeah,
what,
yeah, he was 31. He
uh,
was supposed to be like 17 or something.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what?
But I don't I'm not mad about that though. Like at the end of the day, Disney made a decision and they
Mhm.
casted him. So I can't get mad
And yeah,
at him for getting a gig. I can get mad
that's
at
still
Disney for casting him in the first place.
it's still crazy though. No.
Yeah, but if you look at him, does he look like he was 31? Not initially.
I mean, you kind
So,
of, after I heard that, I was like,
yeah, but you have to remember,
yeah.
because of how humans work, we don't think something looks like something or something happened or whatever
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
until our mind is put to it, and then we're like, "Okay, yeah, I can see that guy looks like he's 31." Where before we had that knowledge, we're
Mhm.
like, "He looks like he's a teenager," or at the very least, he's in his 20s. You wouldn't think he was 30, you know? So it was that's the thing. It's like once that's put in your mind, you're just like, "Okay, yeah, now I see it," whereas before, like, when you didn't see it. And I think that's what Disney was banking on, that
Yeah,
people wouldn't see it. But then when that
no.
information came out, you're just like,
Yeah,
"Oh, come on now."
I could unsee it,
Then you
anymore.
can't
It's it.
unsee it. Exactly,
Yeah.
but that's the whole thing. That's how humans work. We
Mhm.
we can't unsee something once it's become our knowledge,
Mhm.
right? And again, like, I wasn't it's not like I was worried that something was, like, gonna happen. There was never any scandal with him. So as
Mhm.
long as there's no scandal with him, like, I don't see a problem, I guess. Like, he made his money and whatever. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I can't hate him on that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
but yeah, no, it was just, like, I kind of wanted more of that, but, more of
Yeah.
seeing the cast there because,
Yeah.
like, we weren't here just for Miley Cyrus. Who the hell was Miley Cyrus initially? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We watched the show because of everybody. So it would have been nice to kind of have
Mhm.
everybody there, but um, she did sing some music as well. She sang "The Climb," which is probably one of my favorite songs,
Mm.
which was from the movie, and so that was great. And yeah,
Mm.
yeah, she wore the blonde wig and everything. She was rocking Hannah, and
Mhm.
that was fun. Um, so yeah, I mean, for what it was good, but I just kind of was
Mhm.
like, I want a little more. But
Mm. I
it
see.
is
I
okay.
see.
It is okay. But yeah, just kind of
Yeah.
honorable mentions real quick.
Yeah.
I won't talk too much more about them. Is I watched, you know, it was, cult time for me to watch some cults. And I watched Cult Massacre One Day in Jonestown. Need I say more? No.
Mm.
But what I did actually like about this documentary or docuseries was they actually talked to some of the people that were there, not just like the cult members, which obviously there's not many left,
Mhm.
because almost 1,000 of them died that day. But um, they actually talked to like the people who traveled to Jonestown to suss out, um, and talked to some of the people who tried to leave, and obviously, with them trying to leave, that's what caused the whole situation, or I'm not gonna say it's what caused this whole situation. It was cray cray before that. But it's so it was really interesting to kind of hear from the people, like the camera guy or the um I don't know what her title was.
Mm.
But I think she assisted the congressman who was killed. Um, but at the time, she's gone way beyond that. She's done it since then. But um, they talked to her, and I'm like, this is great. Like this, this is a little bit different where we can actually kind of hear from those people. But of course, we're talking about a cult that had a mass suicide situation, and you do hear the tapes of the night they drank the cyanide
Mhm.
laced quote unquote Kool-Aid, because it wasn't Kool-Aid. Um, and it still haunts me. It's just you it's the babies crying. I can't. I'm just like, because you because they're in pain, and I'm just like, no, I can't. I don't understand how anyone could have done that to their children.
Mm.
I'm sorry, but like this man is telling me I have to die, whatever, and I have to kill my child first. I'm like, no, you, you
Mm.
piece of shit. Meanwhile, here, drink some. Oh, you don't want to drink any? You coward. So he didn't drink any. He killed him. He shot himself, or someone shot him.
Wow.
Actually, he didn't do it himself. He's a goddamn
Mm.
coward. Anyways, third season of Fatal Seduction, which I actually was surprised there was going to be a third season.
Mm.
There was a third season of that. I've talked about it before. It's a South African show. It's on it's finished its third season. Show's
Mm.
good. This third season, I thought was better than the second one, for sure. It had some twisties and turnies, and I was shocked at some of the things that happened. I will not spoil, but I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, okay. So I'm gonna say now, I don't know where we go from here, from how the third season ends, but who knows? I said same thing for the second season, and they came back with a third. So, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, Fatal Seduction. Yeah, I said think
Uh,
what I said before we cut out. But yeah, don't know where we go from here, but we'll see, I guess, if we have a fourth
mhm.
episode. Um, I watched another docu-series. Again, this was on Disney. I watched a lot of Disney Plus this month.
Mhm.
This was called Capturing Their Killer, The Girls on the High Bridge. Now, I know, Mikkel, you probably don't know the story, but this was pertaining to the Delphi murders. For anyone who doesn't have context, this was about two girls who um, were just having fun. They were on like a bridge that was maybe not the safest part to be on, but
Uh-huh.
they're teenagers, they're having fun,
Right.
and they were murdered. And there was a video that was found on one of their phones where you don't see this person very clearly, but or if at all, I can't remember if you actually see him at all in the video. Actually, no, you do. You do see him in the video, and
Mm.
you could hear him saying "down the hill." Yeah, down the hill. And it would repeat it down the hill because they were trying to find out who he was. They were trying to find who
Uh,
he was.
um,
So yeah, it was one of those cases that capture the true crime community where it's like, who did this? These
mhm.
girls were Uh, I think they were 12 and 13. They were very young and really don't, who the hell did this? So this was
Mm,
kind of like the case itself and then capturing the that did this.
right.
Um, there's a lot of like, was it actually him? He's mentally ill. And you know what? I you can be mentally ill now and maybe you were on a slow decline when all of this happened. I think that's possible. But I can
Mhm,
also argue that don't you have to be a little mentally ill to kill 2 girls? 2 young
mhm.
girls?
Yeah.
I would think so. So, I think they caught the right guy, so, you know, it is what it is with that. So, yeah, that's one I watched. This was an older one that I
Mhm,
watched, but it took me a
mhm,
while to get to. A Teacher. Did you have you heard of that one? It's a fictional
mhm.
story, but again, I would argue that there's some truth to it.
Right.
Um, basically this was the one where a teacher, female, gets involved with her student who's male, um, and obviously gets inappropriate pretty quickly.
Mm.
Um, and it was 6 episodes, I believe, 6 or 7 episodes,
Oh,
and
wow.
you kind of see, you know, this whole thing happening, um, and then when I want to say when she gets caught, but no, she kind of gave herself away. Um, And she goes through the trial and goes to prison and everything like that and blah, blah. And then you see the last episode is him coming to the realization of, I was the child, you were the adult, you me up because w- he w- he was ride or die for her
Right.
until he became an adult himself and he's like,
Mhm,
what the fuck? And I can't imagine like people who go like we talked about Elizabeth Thomas, for example, during Women's
mhm.
History Month. I can't imagine like reconciling that um and being like, what the hell happened to me? Like why? And
Right.
like these things like I know there's a closer story to this particular show
Mhm, mhm,
of
mhm,
a student who like fell in love with his teacher and like, was ride or die for her. And there's cases of people who've actually killed their husbands, the teacher's husband. So because that's a whole separate situation. So
mm,
it was I thought it was a really well done show.
mhm.
Um, fun fact, do you remember Fear Street, right? Did we watch the Fear Street trilogy?
No.
You don't remember it?
Sure. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. For sure,
Okay.
yeah. Yes.
You remember the bad guy, right? Nick Good?
Yes.
He was the husband of this teacher on the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had to be like when I heard his voice, I'm like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute." Like, I know
Mhm,
that voice. And then when I saw him, like, "Okay, alright." So it was really interesting for me to be like, switch my brain because 'cause I'm so used to him being the bad guy.
mhm,
To be like, "He's a victim of this." But anyways,
mhm.
I thought the show was really well done. It was really good.
That's good.
Really up, but was really good.
Wow.
Um Quickly, I'll run through these other ones. I watched one, Bad Romance. It's a 2020
Mhm,
special. I watched the, second it's confusing. So there is a show on Netflix called Homicide. They have 3 seasons. They
mhm.
have 2 seasons of New York Homicide, and then 1 season of LA Homicide. There is supposed
Okay.
to be another LA Homicide coming. I don't know if it's out now. By the time of me watching, it wasn't out yet. So I watched
Mm.
the 2nd season of New York Homicide. Um, if you're into true crime, this show, I love the formatting of it, how they do it, because 'cause
Right.
they're like they'll talk about a case and then they'll be like, "Something like that in my career before," and then they'll kinda shoot back to, like, 1996, and then it's like this other story that they're talking about that happened in 1996, and then they'll shoot back to 2010. It's and they kind of have, like, the subway system, and that's kind of how they do it. It's so
Mhm,
cool. I thought, like, I love the formatting of the show. Obviously, the cases themselves suck
mhm,
ass, but, like,
mhm,
the the story, how they format it, it's so well done.
huh,
Um, so I love them. Um, I think I watched the very first season of New York and LA while I was recovering from surgery. So
mm,
it's really fun for me to watch this while I'm not recovering from surgery.
mm, mhm,
Um, Another one I watched was The Truth and Tragedy of Maura Wilson.
mhm,
I'm not gonna go deep on this one because I actually wanna do an episode for this. I think she
mm.
deserves her flowers on because this case
Right.
is it's bad. Um, but, um, of course, for those true crime people, you already know the story. For people who don't, it's just say this is a girl who was murdered by somebody and, um, it was senseless. It didn't need to happen,
Mhm.
and none of these ever need to happen, but it really did need to happen, and it was probably one of the craziest stories, after the fact.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll save it for when I get a chance to do an episode on it.
Mm, mhm,
And then I won't talk about this much more. Bad Bunny, the Billions Club thing that we talked about on another episode,
mhm,
watched
mhm.
that. That was fun. And then I watched Trust Me, The False Prophet. That was another Mormon type documentary, another um, FLDS guy pretending he's a prophet so he can sleep with underage girls. Very Warren Jeffs, but it wasn't, not this time. And, yeah,
Mm,
that documentary, I will say, don't walk, run and watch that documentary. It is so well done.
yeah.
It's very different feel to this documentary because of how all the footage was compiled.
Mhm,
It it was honestly, they had, like, the Warren Jeffs type documentary already on Netflix. Then there was this one that came out, I would say maybe 3 or 4 years later,
mhm,
and this was really kind of it humanized these people that are a part of this, let's call it what it is, a cult. It 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 really humanized them, and you're like,
mm,
I just want you guys to be happy, and if you're
right.
happy following some false ass prophet who says that you can get closer to God by being as close to this prophet as possible, you know what? You're not hurting me. As long as you're not hurting other people, I don't care. Go be happy.
Right.
And that's kinda what I came out of that. Well,
Mm,
that was one thing that came out of what I watched, but yeah.
okay.
I mean, I think that's basically it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Next month, I'm planning to hopefully see the new Michael Jackson movie.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I here's what I'll say. I know you've been sending me, like, the stuff
Yeah,
on, like, the
yeah,
critics and
yeah,
everything like
yeah,
that.
rotten tomato, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say, and I think it is said perfectly by I saw this, article, that said it perfectly. This movie isn't meant for critics. It's meant for fans.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, no one really cares what a critic is gonna say anyways,
Mhm, mhm,
but a true ass MJ fan is really not gonna care what a critic is gonna say. And
mm.
this movie has done so well
Yeah,
in its opening weekend.
yeah.
It has it's made so much money in the box office so
Mhm,
far.
mhm, mhm,
And yeah, I a fan is going to see Michael come to life. So that's the whole point
mhm, mhm,
of this movie. Um, it may not be good, and I'm honestly not expecting it to be. A lot of these autobiography type movies usually aren't that good.
mm,
Um, or if it's good, it's like it's good for what it is, you know? Because again, like Rocket Man, Elton John, the Elton John one, It wasn't that good,
Mm,
but it was good. I
mm,
enjoyed it because I'm a fan of Elton John. I enjoy that biopic.
mm.
So, you don't necessarily expect it to be good,
All right.
but I don't care. I'm still gonna
Mm,
spend my money and watch that movie, and I'm gonna have a moment, and I'm okay with that.
mm,
You know what I mean?
mhm, mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited to see it when I get the chance.
Alright, yeah. I think Supergirl's next month, May. I'm not sure. Might be May or June.
Yeah,
But yeah, now I'm going to see that too. And then the movies that I promised earlier that I'm going to be watching. So the AI Dog, uh, Project Hail Mary, and there was another one that I forgot. But yeah, no, like yeah, I just want to be catch up on my movies and basically I'll let you guys know about it within the end of May.
yeah, and, Devil Wears Prada 2 is also coming out
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard.
on
Oh,
Friday,
I heard.
actually, right before this air
Yeah.
probably either airing this is airing the day before or the day of, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's coming out on Friday,
Mm.
and I'm excited about that too. Probably me and my
Hmm.
mom are gonna go see it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Is the first one any good or is it just like
Yeah, why do you think they're doing a second one?
I mean didn't the second one didn't the first one come years
Yeah,
like
and they're
20 years ago or something like that?
I
15?
don't know if it's as l maybe it was 20 years ago, honestly. I don't remember what
Yeah,
year it
yeah,
came out,
yeah, that sense.
but it doesn't matter. That movie is a staple.
Mm,
I'm shocked they're doing a second one, okay?
right.
I am very shocked,
Mhm.
but, I'm happy. Listen, give me Anne Hathaway, give me Meryl Streep, give me
Mm,
Stanley Tucci. I'm
mm,
happy. So,
mm. Yeah, okay.
I love Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm very excited.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
Uh, yeah,
I don't know what else. I think we've kind of covered it all.
yep, yep, definitely covered
Okay.
it all. All right,
All right.
that's it for Spring Takes. You
Mhm.
guys on the next one.
Yep, we will talk about more stuff
Mhm,
next month.
mhm,
Um, oh, I do want to say this very quickly. I
mhm,
finished Only Murders in the Building, all 5 seasons,
mhm.
and I'm sad that I have to wait for the sixth one along with everybody else.
Oh wow.
But
That's,
those that show is so good. It's very good. And I'm currently watching Paradise now with my mom.
mm,
That is good.
cool.
Really good.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
I'll update on what I think of that once I finish it. We're not done yet.
All right,
So, yeah, that's it.
all right. Peace, guys.
Bye. If you liked what you heard with our podcast, you can head on over to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. There you can get any of the links to any of our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Next Take Pod. You can also find links to our Reddit page and many other things, I'm sure. Can't remember all off the top of my head. You can also email us at mikeltanika@gmail.com. There you can send us any inquiries you have, any questions, or also any episode ideas. And if you do have episode ideas, just make sure you put in the subject line episode ideas, and we'll add it to our list. If you also liked us, you can like us, rate us, follow us on any of your favorite podcast apps. You can rate us, however, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. And we'll also move forward and share um, or spot a light on those who give us 5-star ratings in the future. That is it for us. We'll see you next time for the episode.